I expect from a Washington offense without Jaden Daniels.
The fake to Hill, the throw to Flowers, who got a terrific block and will score. Now it's Mayfield looking. Rolling. Going deep as a man. Abuka! He's got it! Touchdown, Tampa!
The Daniel Jones experiment has worked spectacularly well. They are a complete team.
Touchdown!
24-23 is what my math says.
So many big names on either side of this. I'm interested in the big name that we're going to see at halftime, though.
He's big, he's physical, does a great job winning the 50-50 balls down the field. He is going to help this team in so many ways.
Okay, thought we'd bring some audio-video excitement to the symposium today. Again, I'm Matt Lathrop. Been with the NFL for almost 18 years. Started in production and have worked my way into more of our content strategy, distribution, and now what we call audience development.
And I'm Jonathan Vu. I'm the director of product, overseeing our ad products, our ad techs, and also our fast business. So we're very excited to show you NFL channel. We've been in the market for a bit, and hopefully you guys get a little enjoyment here.
Okay, so anytime we speak publicly, we're contractually obligated to talk about how big the NFL is and how wonderful we are, but this will make sense as I tell the story a little bit about how we treat our fast business. So obviously, we have a large fan base in the United States. Clearly, we have global ambitions. I think you guys know we continue to add new international games. Our social and digital consumption continues to grow, along with TV ratings. Then we do a lot of research into different demographics, life stages, what football means to different people. And really what we continue to do is try to keep fans engaged year-round. And actually, a lot of studies have said 11 out of 12 months of the year, football is what they're most interested in. So what it means for us at NFL Media, there's a huge ecosystem. Obviously, we have partners, broadcast partners, digital partners, syndication partners. The role that we play as the league-owned media asset is we are creating and distributing a lot of different types of media across our owned and operated. We have a direct-to-consumer product. Of course, we have NFL Network. We have a podcast. We have a podcast partnership with iHeart. We have tons of streaming partners, social media, obviously. We do also, our team does global syndication of clips we're creating. We send that to all parts of the globe, but then also all 32 clubs are also distribution endpoints. And this is a slightly older slide. It's more of a snapshot. But just as we think about what we are trying to do with FAST, we kind of always think about this with any new business. Our team spends a lot of time working on new partnerships. And so we always have three keys to when we go into to any new opportunity. Is number one, we have a pretty good understanding of our audience. I mentioned a lot of the research that we do. We have behavioral data from things that we've distributed before across multiple platforms. Some platforms are better than others in terms of the type of data we get. And then we have a pretty developed content identity based off of what we are. We're a league. Our games are the most crucial part of what drives our business, and I give credit to our football operations department. We are constantly evolving, looking at our rules. Is the game competitive? Do we have competitive equality across our teams? I think that's where I think we shine more than most sports leagues because we have that equality. Now, there's only so many great quarterbacks, so that affects things a little bit. That's the only downside of football is it's a wonderful team sport with an outsized dependence on the performance of one position. But other than that, we're very competitive. And so if you think about our content identity and then our platform distribution, we're serving a lot of mouths. Like we have a lot of contractual obligations. Not unlike other media companies, we have to do more with less. But I think for us, the number one is, for NFL Media, we're home of the official. So we have tons of research and studies on this. Like fans look to us for true and verified information reporting data. We have best-in-class rights to our IP. We have partners increasingly across the globe that are licensing footage from us, but we by far have the deepest set of rights, including classic games and things like that. And then we have sort of top-tier access to clubs, events, players to a degree. So we take those 3 pillars, and then we look at what platform are we trying to distribute on? What are the strengths of that platform? What are the weaknesses? What do we know about the audiences? And in FAST in particular, we started in 2019 with one partner. We essentially had 400 hours of library programming, some classic games, some NFL film shows. And that's what we ran on. And it grew and was successful. But you fast forward to today and where we're at, and we'll go through some of the programming, it's night and day. It's also, again, being part of a multitude of launches with content partners. FAST is probably the most complicated and requires technical expertise, which we have people like Vu here to help us with and other parts of our organization. But really what we think about when we talk about our FAST channel is it's a linear feed. So it's one-to-many, just like TV. It's different, unique. Our team also operates our YouTube channels where we can create a lot of different types of content and it will find the right audience. This is one-to-many, right? There is very limited personalization, so we have to think about that. We also look at the data. The latest things I've read is about 60% of FAST users are over the age of 50. So they are more diverse, I think, than a lot of cable subscribers. But we have to think about that too. We're not talking to 13-year-olds probably for the most part, where we might be on YouTube. And so the other way we think about it is this is the front porch of everything NFL media has to offer. We want to give you a sampling of a lot of the great content we are creating. We also have to protect some of our IP, some of our value when we think about our direct-to-consumer app, when we think about our partners, and we think about other obligations and exclusivity which we have with our other partners as well. So just an overview, 2025, we're up to over 600 hours of original content, 12 hours of live programming on game day. And no, we're not streaming live games there yet, although I think with the Super Bowl and Tubi, that opened a lot of people's eyes just about the reach and the opportunity with the fast space. And then a lot of weekday programming where we've started to really invest and make sure that, again, we're the home of the official, but we also have competitors, even in the fast space. And so we need to make sure we're differentiated and unique in what we do for the platform. So this is just a snapshot, again, of some of the shows that we've invested in, starting on Sunday with Game Day Preview. We have our live Game Center show, which we'll get to in a second. We have full game recaps for every game. Monday, again, we're in the mornings, we're really recapping what happened on Sunday. Then we get into Monday Night Football with our preview show, and then again, Game Center. Tuesday is generally sort of the bookend of the week for the NFL. We're recapping from a power rankings perspective, top plays of the week, et cetera. It's also when we feature a game replay from either Sunday or Monday in a primetime window on Tuesday. Wednesdays when we start to look ahead. So we have a lot of library programming and relatively newer programming that is tied into an upcoming matchup, into a storyline, into Aaron Rodgers is going back to play, say, the Packers. We'll have all of his classic games and moments ready to go. And then as we get into Thursday, it's game day again. Friday, we're getting you ready for the weekend, whether you're a fantasy player or want to know all the storylines with NFL Daily. And then Saturday, new this year, we're actually replaying the Red Zone episode from the previous Sunday, which is actually pretty compelling passive screen content for us, because you may not be interested in a single game replay that we're putting up, but Red Zone, and for those who haven't seen it, it's also a way to kind of get people to understand what it is. It's actually really a good watch, I think, on Saturdays as well. So let's see here. Got a little video. So what is Game Center? It is essentially our answer to, if you're not watching the live game, how can we be interesting or keep you caught up with what's going on around the league? So as you can see here, it started with essentially just a digital scoreboard that kept you up to date with the latest scores. But now we've really increased in terms of the depth of stats, our next-gen stats. We're doing social media reaction. We have interactive trivia. It's truly a live production. And we start again with a live pregame show, and then we go all the way through Sunday Night Football. And some of the next-gen stats tracking is pretty interesting as well, which is exclusive to the NFL.
Yeah, and I think from the technology standpoint, one of the biggest things is how do we get all these X's and O's? How do we get the social interactions? There's a lot of conversations of how do you do vertical videos, how do you do YouTube and everything else. This is more of your Sunday front porch, as we put it, so you can come in, take a look at the scoreboard for your games. It's a great secondary screen as well as a primary screen if you're watching a game and you want to catch up on, hey, what's going on with the Bucks Falcons, or hey, what's going on with the Rams Chargers and things like that. Additionally to that, we have unique trivias and things like that to get fans a little bit more engaged, to understand what's going on and who you think you're going to win. And from our standpoint as the front porch is to be able to bring that slight interactivity. I know it's one-to-many in the fast space. It's hard to personalize. But in this avenue, you're able to start to interact a little bit, try to make it a little bit more engaging. There's some folks that just like to watch the game, some folks like that jump around, and then there's just other folks that just want to know, tell me the score. What is the actual score? Where can I watch the game? Where do I need? So Game Center drives you into the NFL ecosystem on game days if you don't know where you're trying to go or how you're trying to look at. And we definitely do various partnerships and a lot of different entertaining content that flows through as well.
Yep. And so part of, and this was sort of a passion project of ours for probably 2 years before we finally launched it, we believe that in a linear one-to-many experience, there's going to be things playing that you may not be interested in, like if they're going to play a game that I don't really care about. Again, we sort of believe that this is mostly passive viewing, but how do you keep somebody interested no matter what we have playing at that given moment? And so we really worked on and finally found a cloud-based solution that allowed us to create a 24/7, we call it the L-bar. You've probably seen these in things before. I watched it on, I think it was the Bloomberg channel, just like constantly updating stock information. I was like, we should have that for the NFL because we have all these different types of stats and data and team rankings and player rankings, but also for upcoming programming or in trivia. I think it's a way for us and our team to help make the channel as engaging as possible. Again, no matter what time of day it is. A lot of these are integrated. A lot of these panels are integrated into our systems based on an API. But then also our team is creating some of these panels manually. We have research teams coming up with various trivia or what we learned. And then, of course, this also offers real estate from a monetization standpoint. So we do now have sponsorships, sort of takeovers. We call them the L-Wraps. But it's been something that when we launched, it was October of last year, we immediately saw an uptick in our time spent on the channel. So it really proved out that our thought about this was right. And the other thing, and I'll let you get into some of this stuff in a second, Vu, is that we have spent a ton of time on developing more insights with the channel itself. We're on 10 partners. Everybody's data cuts they send us is a little bit different in different time frames. It's a lot of work on Noah back here who works on this from an analytics perspective. But we now have, based on some of the data the partners give us, we have hour by hour sort of heat maps of when people are coming, when they're leaving. It's actually by the half hour. We have day parting now. It's actually more granular in many cases than what we get with Nielsen ratings for NFL Network. So that has allowed us to test, iterate, deploy new shows and assets, and understand where are the opportunities for us to further engage, and where there are areas where even if we do live or new programming in this window, it probably isn't going to make sense just based on the audience behaviors.
Yeah, and think from a technology standpoint, how many of you actually participate in like any fantasy football products and things like that, or sports betting? On the other side, this is the unique thing about what we looked into investing on here. If you were to watch NFL Channel today, you can get your injury reports, you can get your fantasy stats and scores, you can also get unique trivias and things like that. We understood that the audience we're reaching is not just football fans. It could be casual fans. It could be just new users that are coming in, right? That's why we have the trivia. The trivia, for those that really are intense in football, they'll know, oh, who is Tom Brady? Where was his journey on that side? Versus some that just want to learn the game. Like, for example, I'll ask any one of you here, why is it called a touchdown? I'll give you bonus points if you know. No? No takers? What again? Rugby? Kind of, not really. I mean, close. You're close. Oh, go ahead. Correct. How many of us actually knew that the version of touchdown was you physically had to touch the ball down into the end zone? Now, if they actually did that, a couple of these plays in this past week wouldn't have been fumbles, and I would have been a little bit happy, but it's okay. But that's like the essence of what we're looking at, right? If we want to grow this game, even domestically or however we look in any plans in the future, is just how do we teach the game itself? I think we were born with this game here, but we don't actually know certain aspects. So really giving those little tidbits from the trivia aspect, and additionally from the sponsorship that allows you to engage with the user on that end. And also, I'm just going to go back to what Matt said, the front porch. This allows you to get into the NFL ecosystem to really guide you to where you're going, because it's really hard to find certain information that you're looking for. Now, the benefit of you guys seeing the programming grid is today is Wednesdays. Our game day previews are coming out today, and we have Game Center tomorrow, and I hope you join in and take a look.
Rugby is also an acceptable answer. So that was sort of a look at in-season. We do spend a lot of time, again, I mentioned the NFL's popularity year-round. We're always trying to make new tentpole events, right, like with the draft, schedule release, et cetera. We spend a lot of time on how we smartly package our assets into thematically relevant programming. So, of course, we have our NFL events. We have Super Bowl, we have Combine, we have NFL Draft, and we do live shows around those events. We see tremendous engagement, certainly around the NFL Draft. But then there are calendar moments on the year. What we have listed is mostly in season. But the ability for us with some of our cloud-based technology to put watermarks or overlays to give context to what programming you're seeing has really helped. And then the L-bar, certainly, after launching that, we're able to do things in the off-season around, if it's March Madness, we can do top buzzer beaters. If it's around the Masters, we can do masterful performances. We'll create custom imagery that, again, we share with our partners. A lot of, I think somebody mentioned this, we have on some platforms 1,200 plus channels. Sports, I think, is second only to entertainment in the volume of channels. So finding a channel is becoming increasingly difficult. So you have to work with your partners and provide them value. So what is the programming? Is this going to be good for their audience? And then also assets to help them promote, so that if there are featured areas on their platform, that's where this kind of imagery could come in. There's other things we can do off platform as well. But again, we really focus a lot on season, but then there will be certain months, like June's always going to be a little bit tough for us. But throughout the rest of the year, there's something every calendar day of the year. There's something, whether it's a player's birthday or a milestone, that we're able to program against. And again, as Jonathan mentioned, our ambitions are to continue to be the top sports league in the United States. A lot of areas where that U.S. growth comes from is in underserved audiences and youth. And so where we think we're going in the future is, again, we're only distributing this in the U.S., but looking to go more global, and also looking at Spanish language fast channel. There's a lot of things that we are thinking about and looking at. But again, with the technical complexity that the fast business sort of has for us, we move relatively slowly and strategically. Again, we have a lot of irons in the fire and a lot of other platforms to feed. But this growth that we've seen since 2019 is probably bigger than anything that we've seen before. And again, our team operates our YouTube channel, our Sunday Ticket partnership, and that growth has been massive as well. And that's sort of, there's an overlap now about where the YouTube audience is and where fast audiences is. They're both gravitating towards connected TV. So that actually offers us even more ability for creating utility content that can go in both places. But I think with that, Mr. Vu, unless you had anything else you wanted to add. We can go.
No, I think the only thing is, if we went back to the earlier discussions, one of the hardest things with folks in this group is to understand where the audience is and how the landscape of the media is changing. Ultimately, it is the audience. Ultimately, it is us, right? Each one of us are an audience member. We understand the economic position that everybody might be different in. You see the rise in YouTube, you see the rise in FAST because of the monetization gateway. It's a lower economic barrier to come through, right? And from there, you start to navigate what is best for, whether it's linear or digital. And in my thought process here, it's kind of all one media at this point. We're really just trying to understand how we can navigate in the best for our fans and everything else. I know we have about 6 minutes. I'm happy to take questions. Matt's happy to take questions. Matt really likes to take questions.
Do you guys want to do that? Yeah.
So I have two. You guys recently did a deal and sold the NFL channel and the fantasy and also Red Zone to ESPN for about $2 billion worth of their equity. So this feels small compared to what you guys just strategically got rid of. So help us figure out what the NFL is doing strategically when they're selling such huge value to a third party. And then second, FAST has a problem with data, and sort of data is the new black. You really need data in the next 10 years. So how do you, what are your data assets on these FAST channels for the NFL?
Okay, well, I'll start with the first piece. The NFL Network ESPN acquisition, that was approved today by the owners, but there's a long way to go in terms of regulatory approval. Could take up to 2 years. But as a league and our ownership, we're always looking to maximize our value. And then there are cases where, is it better for us to operate a business, or is it better for us to license that business? And so the same way that ESPN has ownership of the SEC network, we're essentially giving over operational expense for their right to operate that business, and then we have an equity stake. So the reason that valuation is so high is because of the games. They have exclusive games, and so that is where they were interested in taking on that business. So we still participate in the growth with our partners in that case, but we don't spend as much from an operating perspective. We're retaining all of our digital properties outside of fantasy. And FAST is one where we were not going to give that up because of the growth potential that it has. So long way of saying, we're always looking for opportunities where we can maximize revenue without adding incredible amounts of sort of operating costs to our side. But there are things that are growth areas like NFL Plus, our direct consumer product, like FAST, like our YouTube business, like all of our social businesses as well, that we're going to keep that ownership. And you want to hit on the data piece?
Oh, I'm happy to answer the data piece. I think the biggest thing about the data piece is, you're right. It's really hard in the FAST world. I think as you work with different platform providers, they all like to enclose everything. I know Gracenote kind of had a position in linear. They're trying to come in. A lot of it is just working with our partners to really understand what that ecosystem looks like and how we can, to an extent, normalize it across the board. And I think conferences like this, or having the collective working groups to really understand from media heads, we knew the challenges with Gracenote. Everybody here is okay, we're leveraging them because they are the essential person for linear. And now as we go into the digital, everybody likes to say the wild, wild west. It's more of how can we as a community collaborate to understand where we want to push forward with our information and how we want to push forward with the performance and things like that, right? Hopefully that answers your question.
My question is, what kind of things is the NFL trying to do to reach younger audience with the media and stuff? What types of content are you guys trying to work on to target people younger?
Yeah, it's a good question. So similar to the question about ESPN, it's do we do this on our own, or do we work with partners? So I think you guys have seen the Nickelodeon alternate broadcast we've done. We do similar things with Disney. I think we did Toy Story last time. Yep. So there's those kind of larger, unique activations around games. Also with Nickelodeon, we have a weekly show called Slime Time. So we do things with our partners, but then creators are a big topic. There are certain creators that we work with that have audiences that we are looking to capture. And so I think that's those are the main ways, as opposed to spinning up our own kids channel, which we've kicked around for a long time. We think for us, it's best to work with people that are experts in that space and provide them access to players or IP that will help convert their youth audiences into football fans. And it's not easy, it's not simple. I have 2 daughters. They don't care about football. And I think part of that is because that means that dad's working on Sundays. But I think a lot of it has to be about finding why people love football. And at the top of every list, how did you become a fan? Is because it brings you closer together with your family. Like every football night of the week is when I'm texting my cousins, right? And so we want to make sure we figure out ways that we can share with kids who may not be interested at all about why football is interesting. And I think, again, the communal experience around live sports is why it is still so valuable. And the fact that it's totally unscripted, that you don't know what's going to happen, and that's totally different than anything else that I do from an entertainment perspective.
Despite what the conspiracy theories say.
Yes. All right, 30 seconds left. Okay, well, thank you guys. Appreciate you joining today, and we'll see you guys around after. I think we're doing a luncheon.